Okay, recording.
And they were left him. And now we got him. All right. So, all kinds of craziness happened last week. Lots of unexpectedness. Guys came down off the mountain, communicated with the jewels about the results, and they have decided to, for the best that they could do at the time, is give you a deed to an old abandoned uh, uh, fortified location a bit further north on the other side of the mountain, that they have since abandoned, could not come to an agreement on what they were going to do with it. So, hey, it's free real estate. So,
Can you give me 1 quick second?
yeah.
Sorry, just a second.
Lost a druid.
So yeah, but I will say, the combat did, even though you guys stomped them fairly hard, did give me fairly good insight. Because since you guys have started, you guys have really been like, you get into combat, you guys are like, oh, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. And then you guys get out of the combat. Um, except for this time. So we really got good insight onto how the structure and what you guys, what your characters like to do when it comes to like combat. So it was real nice insight and gives me a good direction on the spells and items and feats and stuff I can start throwing at you guys to entice you. Um,
All I heard was he's figured out who's suicidal and who's not.
yeah. So,
It's only suicide if you die.
hey,
Well,
otherwise you just call it bravery.
it was no fault of Ilix that he failed at that.
Hey, Dragonborn killed the guy, the general of war. So hey, you know. So anyway, you guys got your land. Decided to go hunting. Um, cut up this monster. Surprised it with some nice perception checks. Uh, didn't even get a chance to finish the monster stat block for you guys quickly and cut him up really nice. Got some nice things from it. Then on your way back, notice some weird.
Z put Ilix to shame.
Probably would have put Jorhan to shame if he went out hunting with you guys for some ingredients. He'd have been like. Anyway, so came back, noticed some weirdness going on in town, some town folks. Um, went seeing what's going on, and then noticed a friend of yours was also experiencing some weirdness, and then noticed that witch of a person um, wasn't quite done with you guys, wasn't quite ready to give up this nice prime land um, uh, that she needed for her continual cause. And I'm going to take it by force this time. Overwhelming force. Uh, and through some very unexpected, pretty much hitting bare minimum for a divine intervention. Um, Armoros, the avatar of Undoing, came down and decided to obliterate the swamp and everything it came in. Had a conversation with you guys, um, basically enticing you guys to continue, so that she does not have to, as she decided to fade away at the end of that conversation, leaving you guys out there on the road, mere feet away from the charred desolation, out to the south, changing the Roskmeyer swamplands, into now the clay spore wastes. At this point, it is charred. Most of the trees are left in blackened stumps, that were there. All the ground soaked and dried, to this cracking pattern across the ground, still giving off this odd radiating heat, as it starts to cool. And the dust settles. You guys do.
What just happened?
I don't know, but it was kind of spectacular. Also, I understood that this was supposed to be some motivation in a very specific direction that we were just given, but I'm confused. Were we given a carrot or a stick?
A little bit of both, perhaps?
Wow.
I turn and look at what was her name? Archer Paladin.
Aika?
Where is she?
Aika?
Aika.
So the dust starts to
That
settle.
was your
You
deity?
turn around. So the dust starts to settle. You turn around and you see, Demisios, kind of on one knee, kind of crouched down with his hand up, and he kind of puts it down and he's cradling,
All right.
a little boy, and the dust settles and she's not around.
If you can hear me right now, I'm resetting my Discord. I'm having trouble hearing anybody.
We can hear you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we can hear you. Okay. You guys having trouble hearing me?
No.
I changed headsets. Just let me know.
We can hear you. If you have another mic, it might be clearer, but we can hear you.
Right, see.
We can hear you
Might
fine,
be.
Sam. Or at least we could. Sam, can you hear us?
You guys hear me okay?
Oh, God.
We can, yeah, I can hear you. Sam, can you hear me?
Okay.
I hear a bunch of robots.
Are you on a laptop?
No, I'm on my phone, but it just cleared up. Okay, let's go.
You hear me now.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, you turn, as the dust starts to settle. All you see is Demisios. He's on one knee with his hand kind of raised as the dust kind of stops fleckling out in you guys' direction. He's cradling the boy, and that's it. She does not seem to be there anymore. Seems she took the opportunity with you guys arguing with a gigantic divine deity, and walked away.
Hmm. Well,
We need to continue our trip north to meet Sucklaf. Amarosa's free and her power is growing. She helped us this time, but she won't always be on our side. Sam, can you hear us? Uh-oh.
oi.
Talking to you, Sam. I think that means Sam can't hear us. You can't hear us? Hey, did we lose you? We can see you moving, and we can hear you. Are you on a laptop or phone?
Okay, it just reset on its own, and I can hear you now.
Are you on a laptop or a phone?
I'm on my phone.
Okay.
I use my phone to avoid. I have no home internet, so I run my laptop over my hotspot and use the phone for the actual chat to save on data.
If it completely fails, maybe try restarting the phone. Like if it starts failing again. Uh-oh, that's not the good look.
And you're going. I'm going to try voice only if you can hear me.
Okay. He's dead.
It's the hotspot.
Yeah. Hey, Sam, can you hear us?
Any better?
Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you just
Yep.
fine.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. Try that.
Yeah.
Excuse me, tech support?
All right.
Well, thank you for coming.
I got Matt's message saying you can hear me, but it keeps going into robot mode for you guys, and I just shut my hotspot off. I'm hoping maybe if I just run what's downloaded on the laptop, it'll do better. I don't know. Can you hear me or not?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't want.
I mean, it may not fix anything, but it's
Might not.
sometimes it helps. Rethink, recycle, reboot. All right. So on a different note, so how would I go about adding that spell into my list of known spells in D&D Beyond?
Well, just starting to add some things. Um, it'll probably be around the next time you talk to Suklaf. Um,
Okay.
be it at night or some other time. Um, like I said, got a good insight into how you guys play your characters and what you guys do in combat, so I can start enticing you guys with things better.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to like find it in the manage spells or wherever it would be. I don't know.
See, now it says no,
Oh, there it is.
it says it's open for druids. Yeah, so it should be there. Yeah, because the next time she talks to you, she's gonna give you. You're gonna have a bunch of seeds.
I'll probably talk to her again soon, considering
Yeah.
the horrors I just witnessed.
Mm-mm.
Technology is fun.
Is the best. He's like,
Wait,
Fingers
did he live?
crossed.
He lives. Can you hear us?
Any better?
Yeah, there we go.
Let's see how far we can get.
All
Let us know
right.
if it breaks again.
You talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave my hotspot off and try and just work off the character sheet as it stands here. It should be good for that.
So let's see. Did you hear what
When did the fluff get into?
I heard a lot of blips and bloops.
okay. Yeah, all right. So yeah. So you watch Amros disappear, fade away into strips out and dissipate into the wind. Um, and you turn around as the dust starts to finish clearing, and you see Demisios on one knee, kind of raising his hands from the last bit of fleck and gravel that is coming out from the wastes. He's cradling the boy, but there's no one else. It seems Aeka has used the time when you guys were arguing with the supreme deity to um, console herself alone somewhere else. Not there. She's gone.
So I was like, we need to continue north to meet Suklaf at the power station. Amaros is clearly free and beginning to work in this world.
It went to bips and boops again. But I'm gonna try and just sit, and I'll tell you if it comes in. Okay, there we go. I can hear you.
Okay.
So I was saying, we need to continue north to meet Suklaf at the northern power station, seeing as Amaros is clearly free and moving throughout this world.
I think there is a point of concern that one of our allies is not only in direct alliance with this maid, but perhaps in servitude.
I turn to Demisios, who I haven't heard say a word ever. Did you know about this?
Kind of looks. Kids out.
Well, at least the zombies seem to be gone for now. Or whatever they were. Yeah.
Academically speaking, those were not zombies, but
based on our current hierarchy of concerns, I feel like maybe we should be addressing the object of our godfriend's rage before we address our godfriend, maybe. Seems like we can maybe keep her docile if we deal with the issue at hand.
Right. Good focus, Grins. Did they... Someone had a golden hex rod. I'm trying to remember from 2 weeks ago. Did they leave with the hex rod?
The necromancer had it, Trist, when she decided to use it to raise as many of them as she possibly could. She was a little upset that you guys stopped her plans from taking over this nice, lush land right for her experiments.
Did she get away
And
with the
then
hex rod?
Armoros reached for it as she was desolating the area and missed. Came up empty-handed. So possibly.
Right. That's the...
I'm looking out.
Basically, you guys ran into like 2 BBEGs fighting over some shit.
So I'm looking out over all of the destruction there. Does it look like something that could be traversed potentially?
Not at the moment. It is still radiating heat. Everything is still smoldering. It is dry, and it gives off this oppressive, not bad odor, but like 300% humidity. Like it's hard to breathe. It basically desolates that whole strip of land that made a nice traverse between the southern and this area without having to traverse over the mountains from the west.
Well, Grins is sitting here thinking, trying to decide whether this is gonna slow down Tauchu and his appearance in
from
town.
Mormont.
From Vormont, right?
From the mountains.
Okay.
But that also means that if you guys are going to ever head south, you guys actually have to go through Bormont Elix.
Okay.
At least unless it.
Can you hear us, Sam?
I think you missed the joke.
Can you hear us? Oh no.
You're muted.
You're muted. You're muted. Can you hear us at all?
okay. Now
Oh my gosh. I'm just
it
gonna assume that
keeps
something
getting way behind.
I'm just gonna assume that something happened and Amaros knocked you unconscious, and we're gonna be dragging you along for a little while.
Guys, did I mention strength was my dump stat?
Yeah, I got a +0 on strength.
The goblin and the gnome are going to carry the strong character. Okay.
No, the goblin and the gnome are gonna arrow.
Wheelbarrow.
There are two town guards. There are 2 town guards, you know. Be like, someone go get Firebird.
Okay.
All right. Well, we need to continue to head north at some point. We deed to a nice patch of real estate that might not be a bad idea to check out at some point. We've got a delivery that we've got to be on schedule for.
Yeah, it's like we're pretty much due for Tauchu, aren't we?
Yeah, Tauchu would be coming down probably tomorrow morning.
We need to finish that so we can head out of town.
Yeah.
continue our journey. Let's see.
I'm going to start walking back into the town, away from this mess.
So you guys, see, it was interesting. You guys split the party and then didn't really get into too much trouble. So it didn't take as long as it might have.
Yeah, not like last
but
time.
yeah.
Last time we
Okay.
split the party, we ended up.
All right, guys.
Woke up tired.
I had to stop my camera. So the camera's running. You can probably see me. I can't see you because apparently the screen trying to keep up and everything is what kept slowing it down. So I can hear you, but I can't see any visual cues or anything. Just be aware.
Hearing us is a lot better. So
The rest of this game will be performed in American Sign Language.
It will be downloaded as a podcast as well then. Hi everybody. We're gonna do an ASMR D&D.
Crap, I was hoping that was
it. Okay. Anyway.
Seems like he's still having issues.
Oh.
sad.
It's worse when he misses the jokes. Sad panda.
Maybe it's the jokes that are causing issues.
Yeah, it's like every time I make a joke, it's like,
the
no,
camera
kill
off
it.
altogether.
Kill it. He made a joke.
Yeah. Well, we're still in town. We haven't left you behind yet, Sam, if you can hear us.
All right, this is the part where we leave.
I might have to drop out from this one, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with my connection right now.
Meet your download limit. They're throttling your internet now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any alternatives.
I don't know. The upload seems good.
Yeah, I mean, we can hear you totally fine. We can watch your video, and your video looks good. That's really weird.
Yeah.
Are your kids streaming video?
He turned his hotspot off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Bump. Oh no. Wheel. Welcome back.
Possible?
We can't hear you or see you now.
Well, this is unfortunate.
Yeah. He's like, oh.
All right.
But yeah. So. Grin said there's lots of other things. Zendira proposed that that was a good idea to go and do the more pressing matters because that should keep Armoros from doing what she wants.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Grins is gonna go ahead. He seems deep in thought and somewhat agitated, as could be understood given what everybody just went through. He's gonna start scurrying back into town real quick.
Ooh. Kind of see Demisios carrying the little one, kind of walking up the road, and you're kind of like, yeah, that's a good idea. And he's wow.
I'm like, I start going after Demisios, like I'm not done asking him questions. I'm like,
he's not walking
any
very
others?
quickly.
You better be telling us the truth.
Just kind of like gives you like this like, how dare you, snorts down towards you.
Mm. So I'm gonna beeline it to that the general store where the Goliath
No.
keeps shop.
You hit the door, and she's not at the desk right now.
Okay.
You hear rustling and stuff, lots of movement, and then her head peeks out. She goes, "Were you followed?" And she's like, he goes down, starts picking up a bunch of some other things. She's stuffing her bag real quick. Um, like takes a look. Do you look worried?
Do I look worried?
Yeah. Or what's your general expression on your face as she searches back around?
Somewhat upset.
Oh, okay. Um, she rolled pretty low. She kind of looks up. She goes, "Oh, I'm not leaving. I just need to pack this right now. Um, I may be switching out. I need to move more north. It seems to have an opening. So everybody's shifting up a bit while the commotion's about. Uh,
I guess I'm alone in the shop right now with just her, right?
unless Zendaya is continuing to follow Demisios.
Oh, I am following Demisios, yes.
He's heading to the actual tavern. Put the kid down.
All right. I'm gonna say, if you don't mind me, that I have like a written report that I wrote up during our last rest of what happened.
Oh, good. She kind of brings up what kind of looks like, and on the cover of it says just ledger. So it looks like a merchant ledger, and she opens it up, and it's got like all kinds of like pamphlets and small like papers that have like symbols, some of them, and then she goes, "Good. I'll leave it in the rest for everyone and the next person that comes by. Has to put it in the collective."
Okay, well, I give that to her and I'm like, by the way, I need to know everything we know about where our old friend Trist has been.
Oh, fascinating. It's why I'm moving north. All right, hold on. I have a whole page for her. And she flips over. She's scanning this. You so then she flips over and she puts yours down in this section. She flips through some. She's like, yeah, uh, I'm heading north. Uh, not quite in the direction, but there's a nice crossroads towards the end. Towards the end, right before the frosted wastes. Uh, Picks up a lot of information. Got a nice building set up there. Hopefully, be able to get more word from what's happening off to the east from that road. Because from what we found, she kind of hands you a sort of paper, especially if you're heading that way. Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes. Um, she's off into the east. Uh, Some think she's out in the desert, but we haven't had anybody brave enough to cross it. Last couple who did didn't make it back. We didn't hear from them again. Uh, Words of terrifying things roaming in the deserts um, has just stretched from coast to coast. Uh, very, uh, very destructive, uh, oppressive. So Um, but some say she might be out there, maybe past. We don't know. We haven't really seen what's behind the other side, or if the desert continues for the rest of the months.
All right, well, If you hear anything about her, please send word.
All right. Yeah. I'll let them know. And she kind of flips yours over. She takes a quill, and she marks some like lines over around it. She goes, okay. And she hits the other paper that it sets on, and it leaves a mark, and kind of has it stick there a bit. It's like, cool. It's permanent. She kind of closes her ledger up. She's like, now, well, I've got to finish up. Anything else I can help you with?
No, that's all I need for now, thank you. God's willing,
Okay.
we'll see you in the north, maybe.
Well, if you're heading a whole bunch of other places, it'll be nice if you find your face. And then she goes back to sitting there packing up. Uh, don't hurt yourself. Keep the watch strong. She
You too.
starts continuing packing up her things. Everything else seems untouched. So it's like she's going on a vacation and the store is staying right there.
Goes ahead, turns around, and starts looking for the other two.
Yeah, so you head out, and the area's kind of rushing around and stuff. You see a bunch of wind genasi. They're wearing some robes in like whites and yellows, um, and they're just going out and about. And, there'll be groups of people who are like dragging a person who is very adamant on uh, going in a certain direction and not being clean, and they're um, going out about these individuals and cleaning them off. Um, I see the whole city not in a big panic, but like in a it's odd, like with a lot of genasi there. It's almost very ordered. Um,
Wrong button.
Uh,
Did we lose Sam?
maybe.
Sam, your video stopped moving and you're muted, and there's an option to watch your stream. He's frozen.
mm.
Oh, now you're
Oh,
moving again.
there he is.
Hey, Sam,
Can you hear us? That's not
doesn't look good.
mine.
And first.
I'm guessing because he's typing, he can't.
Yeah. Hey, new player.
Hello, I am Julix. I am different color dragonborn. I do not throw spears, I throw javelins.
Zendira looks very confused.
I'm an anthropologist, not an archaeologist.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if this is gonna work today.
It's not looking like it.
Well, let's see. in town. Zendira and Ilix can go ahead and, especially if Grins is looking for the others, um, Scratch, besides questioning uh, Demetrios for story purposes, um, heading to the forging area, because Zendira has all of those materials.
Right. I have no idea what I can forge. I forgot what I was carrying.
So you ended up with a lot of teeth, um, a whole cloth.
Okay. So I had the tooth thing right.
Yep, and then you had a whole claw, a whole hand of claws,
Okay.
from it. Um, two, one larger one of 6 inches, and you have 2 5s and 2 3s, all of which slightly curved in and serrated backwards, as they were set up at the end of this large webbed hands, meant for netting and holding on to things. Um,
Oh, that's right.
after the
Yeah.
ambush.
I had the whole freaking appendage.
Yeah, those things are very nasty if undiscovered, but you knew what you were looking for, had some good perception rolls, and it agitated it out of its hiding spot, making it very vulnerable, um, if not also very frightening looking. But while Ilix pulled off the actual um, tentacle on the one side, Zendira got the entire um, tentacle apparatus, all the muscles attached to it. Um, Probably better than Joran would if he was trying to eat all that muscle. So you can butcher that thing wrong. Um, but yeah, and making the tip, 3-prong grabbing mechanism, still articulable. Um,
I'm trying to think what to do with that.
Ilix was looking to make a whip with one of them. Grins has a very nice hide on his person.
Yeah, very interested in seeing if I can stretch that into a new drum cover.
Mhm. Daggers. You could always ask. You could always.
Are you talking about weapons?
Jason the Dragonborn would always could possibly work with all kinds of non-metallic things.
Okay.
Leaves that to the big guy.
Okay, well, I'll
So
definitely
if you
bring it
have
to
a
him and
bunch of
ask him, like.
materials, yeah. So if you have a bunch of materials, by all means.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring it to him and then ask him about the stuff. This seems really nifty. Like,
Like you pull it and like the whole kind of end, like it's flopping, and like the whole kind of end kind of rears up, and it's like weird, like oh man. So yeah. So you
seems
get
like a
like,
really
and
weird
he's like
weapon.
every now and then he's like, oh, he's I can do something with this. Your friend looking to do whip, yes? That's perfect. Can do a lot with this. Um, Look, and he flips it over to the muscles that you have attached to it. They kind of like flop around a bit. He's like, kind of picks up a bone he was like sharpening down. He's like, uh, they're great and articulable, but and he kind of like waves the bone. It kind of like slaps the end of them, and they kind of like and kind of like wrap around it, and kind of attach. He's like, it'll grab a hold and let go of any kind of handle I put on this. Needs a better grip. Replace it. Makes it so much easier than having to disassemble and put a new one back on. Um, I'm very, very impressed.
Hmm. Trying to think.
He looks over at the other one. It's like I was expecting this, but this is this is grade A material. I will do I will do this justice. And he kind of looks over. He's like, those are also very nice. Did you did you pull all of its teeth out? Are you a dentist?
Um, living alone in the woods for 100 years, I had to learn a few tricks.
I guess I have. Oh, okay, okay. Look, I was going to charge you a bit. I do know that you're on a time limit with the shipment. So I was also going to see if you wanted me to cancel uh, my other plans for the night, uh, and uh, do this for you for a fee. Uh, but I possibly, I no, I possibly I couldn't. Um, this is very expensive materials. So um, no charge. Um, I'm going to cancel my plans and make sure I have this done. Uh, just for the opportunity to work on this I appreciate. Um, I will do a very good job. This could um, could look very good for me working here. Definitely. Uh, so I would be honored to work on whatever it is you would need. Um,
You are most kind and generous,
Definitely.
friend. May Sucklaf's blessing be upon you.
I've never seen these. You are either a surgeon or a psychopath. In either way, I don't even care. This for a craftsman, this would look very good for my resume.
All right. Well, I mean, for the teeth, I'm probably fairly obvious, but like an array of like knives, daggers, stuff like that. I don't know.
Yes.
Unless my new
I
friend
can
has a
make
better idea. Be very interested. What are your thoughts, sir? Good sir. Oh, you still there? Oh, he's still there. Okay.
okay. Were you talking to Jason or Bruce?
Yes. Yes.
He's like, now these small ones, I could make um, some nice returning slashing daggers. Um, a nice curve with the right handle, and have them whip around like a boomerang. Um, so they can be thrown well, do the damage, and come back. Um,
I'm getting very
and
eager and
that's just
excited
at
about
base
this.
level. The larger three, with how curved they are, to make a really nice sickle. Put all three of them together on a handle and just have it rake out at them. Ooh. He starts to like stroke like the little frills at the bottom of his. He's like, "Mm." But I'm getting too imaginative. No, honestly, it's not mine. It's yours.
Oh gosh.
Now
Well, the boomerang.
I am very curious as to why the little man has a very large thing of leather. Um, you've just been carrying around. It's very expensive. This Dragonborn is literally like at the chance to sit there and do so much like very expensive things on his resume is almost drooling.
Hey there, friend.
I really forgot you guys had like very expensive materials on you.
So Grins walks up and he places his drum on the ground and he holds up the leather. He's like, I'd be very interested in potentially an upgrade here.
This boy has now set like these like little glasses and like they're like barely hit his eye range because his eyes are out a bit. So like he has to like really focus in on whatever he's looking at. And he's like writing down. He's like, okay, so I've got the elite. I will now also I can do. I see. Did you end up pulling the stuff from the other arm too? Uh, the claws from the other arm, or just from the one hand?
I don't. Probably just the one. I don't remember.
Probably.
Doing the
I mean, with the sword, probably got both of them. To reach over Elix, be like, hold on, I need this real quick. Snaps at its elbow. So okay, and then I've got two returning daggers. I can do that, no problem. That's so quick.
About
Well,
how much leather was there again?
oh, like a whole row. It comes from a very expensive large beast. Um, he would be able to use half of it for a very nice drum. Of the size you drop next to him,
Okay.
and then the other could leave room for um, like a belt and boots, um, a chest, like a full leather chest piece, or like a top and bottom leather like outfit. Not so much armor, but outfit. Um, Paulders, the outside of a shield, it's like all kinds of other things. Um,
Hmm.
he's got like a wall slate of examples of all different things. He's got um, it's kind of like a walled-in outside area. Um,
Okay. Grins is kind of window shopping at what's there. And he looks down at his old ragged boots and looks up at a nice display set that he has. He's like, "Hmm. So, how much would it run me to get you to turn some of the rest of this into, some new kicks? I could really use an upgrade there."
Didn't even know what they would do. I, it makes a very nice resonating beat. So it's a very good idea for this kind of leather. But what kind of properties for boots? They feel nice. Just off the top of my head. Yeah. I agree. We could do that. So okay, I've got boots. I've got them. Now, my friend, with the larger claws, we could do some. I could do a sickle. I could just use the larger one for a sickle. Um, it would reduce the chances uh, that it would hold on to the target. Uh, possibly with all three do a lot more damage. I believe I believe if we can, since you kept all of the nice spines intact on it, it will do some nasty raking damage. Target might bleed. Would open it up for poisons. All kinds of interesting things. These are very nice claws. Normally, people don't grab for these. I had somebody who broke them a little early. Snapped them off the fingers, but you took the whole knuckle. It's nice. So honestly, it's up to you, my little friend. But like I said, I'd be happy to sit there and work on whatever you have.
Well, Zendira, what's it gonna be with your fantastic claws then?
I'm googling pole arms.
Oh, like one of those, like, what is it? Is it Chinese?
Yeah, I mean,
The
there's
pole arms that curve outward, like
yeah, it could
for
be
like what,
something like
horse
that.
raking? Like, fuck your horse.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't really want to do the scythe, but I've also got a quarterstaff in my pack, and I'm like, I could probably get him to like turn my quarterstaff into a pretty sweet pole arm at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry. I got a whole ton of thinking to do all of a sudden.
And a pole arm on.
Can he do magic?
Gosh, I forgot you guys had like, kind of, yeah. Like they're basically like with the very well, like the more advanced and the better quality the materials you guys pick up. Um, so in this case, being able to grab like um the claws in general, they have their own properties to them.
Okay.
In this case, so they're reversed. It's a curved claw, and they have reversed spines that like a snake mouth to keep a hold of whatever they're grabbing onto. So with enough force, it makes a raking property, causes the target to bleed. So that would be like maybe like a D4, a damage for a minute of them just bleeding out. Um, um, Depending on like the other ones, they're basically like magical returning knives. So throwing, they return. Because they're all high quality, they're all going to have that +1 magical. Um, the For all kinds of different reasons, like the teeth are straight. Uh, they're not curved because the teeth aren't made for holding onto things. The hands were. So the teeth are just meant to bite into things. Um, so they're straight. They can be used like darts. Um, he is also thinking of using some of those as a loose decoration on the drum. Um, Mixed with that hide can cause a lot of auditory overwhelming stimuli.
Nice.
The hide itself is going to add to um, your DC, your spell. So it'll add to your spell attack throw, um, or your spell attack and your spell DC. Kind of like his cone of Sam's cone of throwing, hand cone of throwing,
Gotcha.
increases DC.
Nice.
Generally, probably the better thing for a bard. Um,
Right.
Also, there would be a command word or since you're less verbal and more somatic. Um, a, a certain beat would, if you had the teeth to it, would also shake the teeth and cause a weird, overwhelming, probably dizzy target or disorientate once or twice a day or something.
That
Depending
sounds
on-
useful.
So I'm kind of thinking with like the grabbing thing that I've got. Could he
Mhm.
build that onto my quarterstaff? So it would look like a really super fancy staff, but it would have like a grabbing hand on the end that I could use.
Now with the other whip tentacle that Ilix got, yeah, because he would need the whole whipping arm for that to attach the end to your quarterstaff. Yeah,
Okay, but so he could do it because I've got the one that's and Illick's got one, right?
that's full articulating. Yeah, if you were keeping the whole whip, the whole tentacle together, yeah, you would want the one with the full muscle grain. But if you're just looking for the claw bit, he can stop it at any point and use it for the grabber.
Okay, so he would be able to put that on my staff, basically, if I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if you want the whole whip, then you would want all the muscles for the whole length of it. He stopped short, so you'd have to shorten.
Yeah.
So if you're just doing the grabber,
so it's like my thinking is like it kind of. I don't want it to look so much like I'm carrying a giant halberd around with me all the time. That's not really what Zendaya is about. So that almost looks more like a wizard staff in my mind at that point. Something more fitting.
And he could. So he's listening to you. And you're like talking about it. And he's like, through it. Okay. And he kind of looks at the grabbing end. And he's like, the teeth at the end. I take out. I replace with the large claws. Hear me out. Hear me out. He's like, no, hold on, don't laugh at me yet. Hold on. Okay. I stick this at the end of your staff. Looks like stag beetle. One long one, two small ones. But you can point and pull here, and the three little ones go. And you could grab something. The claws meant for holding on. Really, really latch onto something.
Oh yes.
And it looks less intimidating when you're just walking around with it. But very frightening when you go and you point it at somebody.
More intimidating. No, okay, yeah, no. Zendaya is all about this. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, doing that way. Yeah. So we're going to do. And it's going to be the staff of the stag. And that will have its modifier, its damage modifier switch to slashing. Because when you swipe at it, the claws will slash at. Instead of bonking them on the head with it.
Nice.
Still works with shillelagh.
Okay.
It is still a staff. So can work with shillelagh. And you can say the activating word, or however you flavor that to activate, and jabbing at an individual with the staff. That would be 10 feet, so it has the reach, the mild reach. Give the full length of the staff out with the claws, do the things. It'll be an attack roll. I'm just gonna putting it all together. It'll be an attack roll, and then that will on hit it grabs, and there On hit, it grabs. Now they can strength out,
Mm-hmm.
but on the end of their turn, or when they get out, it does the raking damage.
Okay.
If they you grab it on your turn, it does the slashing damage. Um, the initial, it'll just be the slashing damage because you're grabbing in. And then any on their turn, because they wiggle, especially if they try and fail. Yeah, so wiggle 1d4. Um, they try and fail 2d4. They make their save and break free 1d4, and it'll just be like a piercing slashing damage. Just kind of this grabbing. Um, Zendira seems to be full blown crowd control druid.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of
Like
the way I've gone.
I don't like you. You need to stop moving and you stay there. Just stay there.
Nice.
Good boy.
So now I'm very excited.
So that's what it's going to be. And yeah, he's definitely going to have to cancel all of his clients and his plans for the night, as he will have to do an all-nighter to work on all of this stuff.
Um,
Now,
the teeth.
The teeth. You have a whole bunch. So he can use half to get the effect for the drum. He can
Okay.
make darts with them. Trying to think of like all the good kind of
Ribs, are
stuff.
you good with darts? Like those things? I have no idea.
I play darts all the time.
That makes sense. Can the teeth be hollowed?
The teeth are already hollowed. They were attached to venom sacs.
Gotcha. Does Ilix have a supply of the teeth as well? Because he was using them for the whip, right?
No, not for the whip. Just the tentacle. And you can use like half of them. You have, gosh, what was it? So he had 20 in its mouth. So he can use 10 for the drum.
Okay.
He can make darts out of all of them. They're fairly hollow. So they don't fly well thrown, but from a dart blower, they are fairly nasty little things. Can also be filled with poisons. Not that they don't. They don't got a hefty weight. They just don't fly well without a barrel guidance.
Okay, I gotcha.
Or I guess a nice counterweight at the end of them, but they're not like splayed. They're a point. So you have to make sure they're straightening out when you throw them. Let's see what else we do. They would be fairly nasty put on the end of cudgels, almost like you have a nailed bat.
I mean, can I use them as arrowheads?
Yes, that's another good. Yeah, you can put them at the end of
Okay. So the question with the arrows there, if I use them that way, are these projectiles recoverable, or are they just like I got 10 uses with them basically?
Yes, because they're hollowed. If you add stuff to them, then that will. Let's see, it's a tooth bone, so it will have the same property as those, as the spear and javelins. So they'll hold onto a poison for the round rather than just the attack. So if you use them for reaction, or you multi-attack, for those cases. But these are arrows, so I guess if you recover them and then shoot them again,
Okay, yeah.
Point blank. Give me that.
I just realized I also have. I don't remember when this was from, but I also have plastic tubing. Plastic. That may have been from the cacti thing, cactus thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that big enough, or is that flexible tubing?
It's mildly flexible. It's kind of like a good. It's not quite rubber, and the outside feels a bit waxy. Um,
Okay.
it flexes enough for the amount you have to come together in a circle. It is hollow on the inside and hydrophobic, so it doesn't. So all the water runs through it when you wash it through. Um, he looks at it. And he goes, "Oh, interesting. You got these from the cactus. Oh, they came through. Fascinating. Hmm. I'm not quite sure what I would do with these ones. That might be. I mean, engineering is good for transporting water. With what was in those cactuses, probably a lot more nasty and acidic materials, dangerous materials safely. Fascinating. Fascinating.
So if you had like a bunch
Groovy.
of, I don't know, fire jelly, would that be a good thing to transport it in?
You save the jelly too. Oh, see now.
I'm like, oh yes, I've got a lot of it here.
Oh goodness, it's all into like buckets. Oh no, you guys got some jars.
I
So
did
they're
get
in
jars
jars.
for
It's
it.
like,
Yes, I
Oh,
did
you
get
got
jars.
jars for it. That was right.
you like sling them around. He like beats your hand and like slows you down. Like whoa, sets it down. Whoa.
I can imagine he's like, you have been carrying this in backpack.
Oh, just like if he burnt down not his store. Like the customer service rep is like, I am not paid enough to do this. So he's like, um, okay. A bit out of our wheelhouse, but oh, this is good. Um, I I have a friend. Okay, not here though. A bit more north. Uh, not quite sure where they set up. Don't really hear much from them right now. Um, but he had word that there was somebody who meddled around with like the cactus jelly, acids, um, did all kinds of crazy things. Works with the magi, um, so, um, but I do believe they are an archaeologist. Eh, they do a lot of work now with the ruins. Um, I guess with the things, eh, not my thing. But you know, does a lot of work with that. As I thought was archaeologist maybe, but they did a lot of communications with the Magi. Regardless, it's just their rambles on a bit. Regardless, uh, I heard they were she could build things together. Um, made it real nice. One of them shoots fire. Uh, all kinds of crazy things. Um,
Can I get a
yeah.
flamethrower built into my staff too?
Just this little little druid with like some sack on its back. Alaka, fuck you!
Oh my gosh.
Those
Look, I
burning
want a
hands
staff
3
that I can
times a
grab
day.
people with and then torch them at the end from a safe distance. Oh my gosh.
No, druid of the moon, you didn't do the wildfire. You don't get burning hands.
Aww.
Should have did your. No, I'm just kidding. Possibly. Yeah, I mean, you guys got the burning. You guys got napalm and a tubing. There's bound to be someone who will make you a fucking flamethrower, a napalm thrower.
Oh my gosh.
I'm here. I worship Sucklef, the maid of verdancy. Burn, Kami. Burn.
Oh my gosh.
Have to redo your alignment for that one.
Amaros, where did you go? I got some undoing for you.
The first time you burn a forest down, Sucklef's just gonna be like,
Pat.
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Oh my god.
But yeah, you could totally have a flamethrower. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Oh my gosh.
you just gotta figure out how to do it. Like, you gotta figure out who's out there.
I put the tubing back. I'm like, well, I've got some ideas for this. I'll talk to you about that again. For the so grins. I was like, I take out like 10 of the teeth and hand grins 10 of the teeth. It's like, I think you're gonna need these. So I thought that Ilix was planning on like putting teeth, like embedding teeth on his tentacle or something like that. For some reason, I had in my mind that he was planning to do something like that. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know.
I mean, they're straight teeth.
Okay.
Putting them at the tip wouldn't add to see because the ones on the end are kind of like the end of like a squid beak, just 3 parts. So it grabs it. It has some, especially with the one that you got the whole full one. He was looking at just getting one that was long, which it is. It's got a 20-foot range. It's going to do the +1. Because it has the full reach, he can switch out handles. Unbeknownst to you guys, because it never got the chance. It has a gnarly point that comes out the tip of the tentacle. Kind of why it just kind of sits a little straight at the end. So when you were playing with it, you were pulling on one that you had it work the articulation of the little grabbers. Neil's back, the other one, and you can see as he's like starting to put it together. He's like, okay, and this is the one I'm going to use for that. And he kind of flicks the ends, and then he kind of pushes it in and kind of rolls it, and the whole thing kind of grabs on. He's like, and he does like a little pull check, and as he does, the whole thing rears up and comes back out, and this like jagged, toothy spear just as it reaches it, and then kind of as all he's like,
okay,
oh yes, this is so nice. Oh, your friend's going to be so happy. This one, and he kind of grabs it. He's like, because, oh, that's right. It doesn't. And he kind of goes around, and he grabs like this like knife. He kind of cuts around the end of the other one that Ilix cut, and he goes, okay. And he goes, this one, and he kind of rears back. He's like, and this one, and and you see the tip. It's like, and then this one, and it goes like, okay, the are three still there. Okay, yes, we can keep. I can keep that one in there too, and then we every time that they wiggle, it pokes out at them, adds another +3. So it'll be 1d4 +3 damage, or if they fail their save, 2d4 +3 damage as it pokes out. Um,
Okay. So it sounds like Alex
kind
is
of like
saying.
a mean color. Yeah, Alex. And now while he's not here, he's going to watch it. So, hi Sam. This is the special stuff for your whip. Um, the whip still knocks over um, the target, which is what he was trying to get in the first place. So whipping out 20 feet knocks target over. It will then grab at the foot, or be it, and it will be attached to the target. Um, Now you can use a bonus action and detach it, so you can use the whip again. Otherwise, the whip will still be attached to the target, and you can't go whipping around somebody else. But the same for the staff, and staff does the same thing. Can't be smacking people around with the staff. You got to attach to somebody's neck. Um, but yes, bonus action, pull it away. Um, Easy for you guys. They're the ones who's going to have to make the save to get loose. Person's at a disadvantage for their save to release until they try to stand up. Standing up will take them their full action because one of their extremities is grabbed by the whip. Um, Unless you're doing from a creature that is of a larger or more status. This is for medium to less. A creature of a lower size than you, being in this case medium, you can use the bonus action when you pull back. Also have a DC 15 chance of pulling the creature with it um, within 10 feet. So it'll come from the max 20 or 15 or 10 and be either right on top of you, 5 feet away, or 10 feet away. You can drag smaller creatures in. So that includes both of you guys, because aren't you both small? Get
Get over here, Grins!
over here. The handle can be replaced. The initial one he gives is a nice comforted handle made of some wood and wrap. The right. The other one, the other handles, this one giving the +1. Other handles might carry traits. You replace with a hollowed out bone, or maybe find someone who can take some of that tubing and make a nice little sack that you surround or stuff inside of a handle. And you can have a whip that, when hitting the opponent, fucking blows up at the end. And a nice little explosion, just a little pop, d6 fire damage. As a whip cracks a little. Um,
Cool.
Stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Stuff like
kind of
that. So,
thinking
yeah,
like with the
all kinds
remaining teeth, probably arrowheads at this point. Hollowed arrowheads would make most sense for me.
Yeah. Those. Yeah.
Cool.
And then so he'll set up 10 straight bone arrowheads. Um,
Sweet.
they have the absorbed mechanic that the other ones will have. So if I remember, I have it up right here. Naturally porous. Go away, rolls. Oh, they'll hold it up for 24 hours. So, if you'll have them, the tubing again can be used for making a quiver
Mm.
that can hold the material, dangerous materials that you might want your arrowheads, or for Ilix's case, um, those javelins, and have them dipped into whatever you guys would want them
That
dipped in.
probably makes a lot of sense.
Um, where he would take, so if he wanted to make a handle, he would just need the length of the tubing for the handle, small. For larger quivers, it's twice the length. So if you're making a quiver like this, he needs another one because it needs to be wide enough. It's a fairly small tubing. So he'll use twice that, make it wider, cinch the end, um, burn it shut, and then wraps it in some basic skins. Gets the leather straps and stuff set up for it. Um, and you have a quiver. Um, he sets with a nice top so that it also, as stuff goes in, it's got the like a straw top. Stuff goes in, doesn't splash around. That would be bad.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got these nice acid tip arrows. Bounce, bounce. Let me climb this rock.
I don't know if it like matters at all from a game mechanic perspective, but can he set it up? Could I get a quiver from him that has like the safe storage and the normal arrow storage all wrapped in a single quiver?
Oh yeah, like that one. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because I've
So
got.
he could probably use all the tubing and set both of you guys up with one. That's good for larger ones. So where it sits, um, it sits. There's the quiver with the arrows. It depends on how you draw your, that's just how you guys want to flavor it. But it'll sit so that it stores a spear, um, javelins. It has darts, slings. It has the whole arrow quiver in the back. Um,
Okay.
So an all-purpose quiver, kind of his specialty because that's what his race generally set with.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome.
But he'd have to use all the tubing.
Yeah, I think that's
And he
fine.
can stitch you both up with one of those.
Okay.
So yeah, and like Ilix already has kind of one, but it's made from just regular leathers.
Okay.
So
Yep, sounds good.
he just goes ahead.
I will take plastic tubing off of my inventory list.
He's like, oh, he's like, actually, I can do that. He's like, I that should be. He goes, hold on. He takes the very end of it. And he kind of takes a torch. He kind of. Oh yes, that burns very well. I'll do that. He's like, okay, two all-purpose quivers. Oh, you guys are like the real deal. Like you guys, like I don't like normally like just maybe like the standard soldier every now and then. I get the mercenary, don't really handle with them. Big guy likes to do those, swords, shields, flanking. His thing, not really mine. Um, but dang, uh, you know, I might set up my own shop. This is going to really set me apart from everybody else. I tell you, you guys, my favorite clients. You guys come back anytime you need something. Oh, I'm set for life. I'm buying a house out in the. He can't stop me. Seems very, very. Um. Now
I kind of
he's
like.
not really paying too much attention. Like he's like looking at you guys. You guys are facing like you guys walk through the main atrium, which is the circular like building where the forge is set in the center. And then it's got the side wall is out, um, and it's got this like large walled-in out square outside next to it, um, where he sets up for like tanning leathers and stuff, and needs the suns and whatnot. So he's sitting on his little stump, and he's not even paying attention, which is weird because he's facing in that direction.
I'm.
um, Now you guys, with your even with you guys' passive perception, um, like you hear him enter. He's a big orc, um, and he, you hear him drop a big crate down. Oh, all right, yes. Let's make sure everyone's working, yeah? And he kind of turns around and he comes up and he's like standing by and he's like just listening. Like his arms are crossed above you guys because you guys are smaller. And he's just kind of like, he's just like, I'm going to buy my own place outside. You guys, I swear, I don't, why would I even work for, I could have my own shop. This stuff would be so great. Oh, I'll have such a great resume. Like I'm going to finally be able to make transcripts for the truth. And no, yeah, go ahead, go on. What else are you going to do? Are you going to get back to work, Jason? And he kind of turned around. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Okay. Thank you for the business.
Thank you, Jason. Sucklaf's blessing on you.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm going to get back to work. You guys like turn around and he's like, Gorbak is like started putting on his gloves back on. He's like, got more copper for the shipment, eh? So we're gonna have a full shipment for Taichi when he gets away.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you guys for giving him the work. Got to keep him humble, but he'll do a nice job with for what I took a look at. Good choice. Thanks for doing business with us instead of any of these other schmucks. Perfect.
You're
Well,
the only
I-
armorer in the town we even considered.
Smart.
I don't know. I looked at some of those other shops, and they didn't even have style in their own shop. I mean, how could I trust them with something as valuable as my business?
Keep dusting me up, little one. I'll have some words for you later.
All right. I turn and head out of the store then.
Yeah, I'll follow them.
Yeah, and you guys will have all that set up.
I'm not going to try carrying any copper or shipments for Tauchu until we get our Dragonborn back.
Oh yeah, he's putting.
Dragging it out of town.
Yeah, I
He's
can
like-
see Syndyra doing that with Grin sitting on top of it. Faster!
It's like a montage of like through the day, dragging it. It's like almost night. The camera zooms out, and we're like 100 feet past the gate.
Like you guys gotta pull it out of the forging district, and you have the main circle, and you guys gotta go all the way down to the gate.
Oh my god!
So it's like you guys And the montage is like you dragging it, and like just a bunch of people like watching. Like someone's like, "Hey, you guys need this," and I was like, and like you see like from the other side where you're dragging it to, and there's like the arch, and you see like what would be like the outside and stuff. And you're like, yeah, and you're like, we made it. And it's like dark, and then it zooms out, and it's the arch to the circle, and not to the actual gate.
We'll
Just a
set
little
up
bit
camp
more,
here for the
guys.
night.
Guys, wake up in Lost and Found. You guys look-
Yeah. All right.
Oh.
He was supposed to get a cart for you guys. I was not gonna be dragging that out of there.
No, that's probably what actually happens. It's like I'm dragging it out, and then Grins comes up with a cart. He's like, "Hey, stupid!"
It's like- was the other two in you guys' original mounts like?
That's right. We have mounts in
You
town,
wanna-
gamers, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, they're out. They're out in the circle still.
Yeah, that's how we got this gig.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Let's see. Did I save those? Possibly.
I am really looking
Yeah.
forward to the staff. I'm gonna have to go into Hero Forge and see if they have anything that will approximate what I was thinking of.
Yeah, no, like let's see. My file. This one. Edit this.
All right.
And then this is what your guys' mounts actually look like. Let's go to this one.
Oh, nice.
Just more the standard brown gray version.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
You guys will find more of the winterized ones, the more closer to the frosted wastes you get.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
that's pretty awesome.
Nice.
so when I said they're kind of like horses, but they got like an extra pair of hands. The domesticated ones kind of set those hands out, like your feet grips. So they kind of just hold your feet there. And then if it has to bump around or go up places, then it holds onto your like right above your ankles, keeps you on.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah, very nice.
Nice.
Also,
Is that
Or
like-
except for the river
riding
one
goes
to
around
uses
with,
to kind of as like a floaty, so you guys sit on it and it swims itself up and down rivers and
That
not
will-
generally tamed, very wild.
Mm,
Also, carnivorous, mostly fish, maybe other small things.
oh my gosh, I found it. Second.
Cool.
Stuff like that. What stream?
Oh, can you see it? Did we lose him?
Yeah, I can see it. Nice.
Can you see it?
With the grab, yeah.
Pretty darn close. Gets the idea.
Pretty much that's what it'll be. It'll be like a grab staff.
Awesome.
Except a bit more gnarly and he'll decorate the end. He'll have it like you'll get like a nice carved wood housing of like a beetle head, and then have the three things like
I got you.
poking
Oh,
out
right, that's
where
right,
the
that's
horns will be.
Yeah, I'll play around.
Oh,
With it. Gets
nice.
the idea though. Gets the idea.
Yeah, so like it'll look all nice, and then so he'll have it all nice and decorated out for you, so it looks like a regular um, staff. Um,
Nice.
the drum, the it's interesting. The hide itself had a like an ashen gray kind of hide to it, and the fur on top was a weird white gray with like deep black, very small spots, sporadic through it. Um, he starts to scrape. He cuts half of it. He starts to scrape the hair off of the one side, and then he sets it in the tanning fluid for it, um, and it comes out. Um, this weird phosphorescent, because it kind of shimmers in the light between um, blue and a very royal purple, um, with a black undertone. So in the sun, it kind of waves this odd, um, hits it, stretches it on his on a like a drum set or a setting ring for drums. He taps it. He's like cranks it a bit more, taps it. It's like, yeah, that's going to work nice. Um, and then he sets up this. He sets up a. He opens up the shed, and there's like stumps in all kinds of different shapes and deep depths. Um, and he kind of pulls one out, and he's setting them next to your drum. He's like, that one's too woolly. Comes back, puts another one on. Yeah, that's the right size. And then he sets it on the spindle, just right down the center. It's like, all right. And he starts stepping down on this little pump. Same as like a bellow for a forge, but it starts spinning this log.
Right.
Takes one of his chisels. He starts carving out, hollowing this whole thing out. First thing he does, he sets grooves in it, so that he can rope through this twine and this nice woven red, um, um, almost cotton yarn. Um, Very smooth still, so not like the itchy kind of cotton. Rolls it down, twines it through, and then he takes one side and he makes this large, um, like knot, that's set on one side with the tassels coming down on the side. In between each one, of the 12 loops that he rings it through, he sets the 10 teeth he drills in around it. Taps on the edge of the wood because he hasn't set the drum on it yet. And the teeth give this hollow chattering, and this weird. It's like, okay, and then he goes and he picks up this like sponge, and he tears off two pieces. And he goes, okay, and he resets his glasses. He starts strumming. He starts stringing out the drum and stretching it onto the hooks he has initially set around. And as he does, it every hook he strings this hide on, it gives a deeper twing, 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 pull, pull. But each time it jerks the whole drum, and the teeth shatter up on it. And the mix between the twings that come from him strapping this on and the teeth chattering gives this weird like, and he has to like stop real quick, like, boom. And it takes him longer and longer to finish each one as it gets more and more around the drum. And he sits down and he kind of like tries to hold all the teeth down. He's like, oh. And he gets this nice metal ring and polishes it out. And it's this nice, not quite copper, but almost like a rose gold. Gives a nice transition between the purple, there's black, purples, and blues on the now nicely rolled around the edges, and the um, almost mahogany wood and the red twine around the edges. Um, and he sets it down. He tries to stick his things in his ears a bit more. Picks up that nice hide mallet. He's trying to like tap it down really quick. He failed his save. Just he failed it. He doesn't have the constitution for that. And he kind of scoots it back, pulls it out, and like, oh goodness, it's done. And that's his night for the drum. Just to let you guys know what that looked like for him. The worst, absolute worst. All you guys are doing, you guys are gonna do your own thing. I'll just let you guys know how his crafting goes. Tauchu is making his way down the mountain during that night. So he will be making his way down the mountain. He'll be coming just north of Rostmeyer. And so he's nice and safe. He did his little trip down, back down, hit one of the earlier towns and came back up to Bormont, and then went across the mountain range. And was there, none the wiser of the absolute desolation, and impassable wasteland that separates now the familiar towns you guys are at, the raging beholder, and where you guys are at now.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Roughly what time of the day is it? Or are we just gonna kind of call this day a town day,
It's-
crafting day?
It's let's see, you guys came down around morning. You guys had the altercation around noon with Armoros. We're in a town. It's about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
After spending about an hour going over pricings and or the lack thereof in this case for all the goods.
So we should be able to meet Tauchu in the morning.
Oh yeah, like yeah, because he's gonna be down there in the morning. Like this was you guys' last day.
And we'll have a cart. So
We'll have a cart. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll have a cart. Be able to transport it out. Meet Tao Chu up towards the mountain range, because he's not going near the towns. He's going to continue to make his way up north, through the mountain pass.
All right. Perfect.
cool.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well,
Aika's not there. Demisios and the kid are in the tavern. By the time you guys get done with at Gorbox with Jason, the Goliath has since skedaddled. Just as we'll open in the morning. Says,
cool. I'm trying to think. Is there anything left we need to do in town at this point? I'm trying to remember like open things we left. I think we pretty much covered them all at this point. We need to meet Tauchu,
yeah.
and I think that's the last thing we have to do here. I think we closed out all of our other quests.
As I'm heading north, you guys wanted to.
Yeah.
So yeah, besides without Ilix.
Yeah.
See,
that
he
plot of
wanted
land, was
to.
that north of us or was it in a different direction? I forget.
Yeah, that's It was on a. At the time, it was on the edge of a lake, which had filled a large crater, one of the larger craters in the area, being one of the biggest lakes on the expanse discovered. We're talking like 2 to 3 mile long craters. Like this thing was huge. So yeah, they have not been around that area in a while. It is north past the mountain range.
Cool. Perfect.
Off, there's like a path that goes towards the frosted wastes. And then this one kind of branches off, skirts around the lake crater for miles, and then starts heading east, and then north. So it kind of wraps around, does this on the other around the east side of the crater.
Okay, so that'll be on the way. Well, we can go check that out.
I'm gonna take my leave and head towards the tavern then. I'll find our friends Demisios and Eowyn, because I still have questions for them, especially the big one.
Open your mouth, big one. I told you already. He doesn't say words. He's my best friend. He hasn't said words to me for my entire life. And I'm not very old, okay? So, but it was a very long time. All right.
Cool. Well, you better stop.
If I can't get him to tell me what his favorite thing is for his birthday, he's not going to open his mouth to tell you anything that he might be uncomfortable with.
Nice.
All right. I'll just tag along as well because, Grinch doesn't have anything better to do at the moment.
Yeah,
He's curious what Interrogator Zendira actually would look like.
Probably pretty terrible.
And we'll just say Dragonborn is out looking for Aega on his own.
That seems like something he'd do.
Okay. So.
Yeah, so you guys, good word. The innkeeper tells you the room they're in is like, oh, you're worried about the little boy? Yeah, the big guy took him up a little while ago to their room. And then you guys head up, and he's sitting there. He's just kind of sitting in a chair. Definitely not big enough for him. He's just kind of like the kid who is like only like maybe 12 years old is in the whole bed. In the middle, propped up. The pillows propped him up a bit. Looks like he's getting some color back, looks still clammy, sucking on some soup. So he's just kind of got the bowl. He's kind of like having a whole conversation. You hear as you walk up to the room, whole conversation with himself, kind of obviously because he's talking to Demisios, and Demisios isn't saying anything back. So you open the door. He's like, but you see, it was a very weird thing. I'm glad, like, I can take a shower and the dust actually comes off this time. Can you imagine? Like, I thought I wasn't cleaning myself well enough. Hey, you guys, how's it going? Like, thank you guys for, keeping me from being a zombie. It did not look fun being one of those uh, uh, after the fact, I suppose.
Grin says, "Oh, I don't know. The lack of obligation for personal hygiene did seem a little bit attractive, but yeah, I guess not. No, the other aspects of it seemed less so."
Yes, the other aspects being complete and utter obliteration. Yes, I do not want to do that again.
Speaking of complete obliteration, it's like,
yeah, that was amazing. You like, if I could do something like that, like I can make things cold, but that, oh, talk about taking control of the situation.
that was not the first time we've met that being.
Or, I mean, same. But it was the first time we saw her do anything like that. That was very impressive.
Pretty wicked, yeah.
The last time we saw her, she was safely contained underneath a mountain.
Yeah, that's where we found her.
But she's not contained under the mountain anymore,
Well,
is
no,
she?
well, no. Why? She was she was just she was very helpful. She guided us in a good direction. She had a real nice strategy for how to fix things around here. So we were, yeah, especially Aika, he must still be upset. But she definitely decided to pick up and take on the retribution, kind of for this for her deity there.
Retribution. Did you let her out from under the mountain?
Oh yeah, Aika let her out. Yeah, she was very convincing. Oh,
What possible
here,
argument?
yeah. Hold on, guys. I can, I can start to see now, with my young brain, why this would be a problem after witnessing the complete and utter raw destruction that she has done before. That would be very bad. This, hold on, I have it somewhere. This is what I get for being very unorganized with my backpack. He starts digging through some things. That's what she gets for not carrying anything on her person. Very lazy. Only carries her bow and her. Hold on. He goes,
By the good
"This is
goddess
it."
of the verdant forest, you better have an awfully good reason.
He goes, "Here it is." And he pulls out a double hex rod. And like, this is good. Uh, uh, I need a way to play this. All right, so okay, so it doesn't really help too much right now, I suppose. But
Eckern?
and he goes, as he just kind of like rolls out of being not in temporal form. And he goes, "Yeah,
Kind of like
good morning. How's everybody doing?"
gesturing at the hex.
All right, well that's a hex rod. I can work on one of those. Oh, that's right. Hold on. And you see Demetrius goes, oh. And he's like, Oh, you're a little thing. He reminds me of one of she had another one nearby. Um, you can read one of these. He's like, yeah, just I need my cluster.
Pull out the headshots from my pack.
Yeah, he's like, okay, now that's I recognize one of those. He's like, let's go see. Oh, good boy, you're broken. Then you need to get fixed. He kind of rolls it over, and he goes, clink, and he slides it across the back of it, and Eggern's hex rod cluster sparks a bit from the cracks, and then you see it the energy kind of waves through the patterns along his, and it kind of filters into the other one, and then the tip goes, and then goes, and starts projecting outward. It's like two hex rods. They're visual audios. One is written, and then apparently you'll see the fours. They're full-blown entities. At least for this size. That's what she said. And you see it's a seat room like you saw under the mountain. And sitting on it, with its feet together, hands sitting in its lap, head let down, is the same kind of posing doll-esque. And then around are a whole bunch of smaller dark figures, just silhouettes, more so. And they all bring, there's 4 of them right now, and they walk together, and they're each holding a hex rod. And then they start to glow as they kind of bring them closer to each other, and they all kind of let go, and the 4 hex rods kind of, they all kind of fit. They light up from the center and wave. Now all kind of fit the energy. They light up from the center and wave. Now all kind of fit, and then it kind of sinks in to the little center recess right in front of the chair. And outward comes a little processing unit. Looks a bit different. Zendira, you recognize this one. Was the one standing next to her before, when she went and executed the machine the first time in your visions.
That was a long time ago.
Oop, we're
That was a
muted.
long time ago.
It was. Yeah, she stood up, tears in her eyes, in her prime form. The little colonel unit, questioning, wondering why, if she was actually going to go through with what she had to. She said she had no other choice. And then looking away.
Amaros?
Yeah, the little colonel unit looked a bit different. Had more robish attire, of orange, bright, almost like reflecting orange. Just kind of questioning, and she kind of turns her face away from where she was looking outward. She goes, "It's the only thing I have left." And she snaps out and sets the machine running, as her prime form fades away. That's the vision being you saw last. So you see that the same kind of colonel unit kind of fly up from the center. He goes, and now for the Maid of Undoing. Come forth, Amaros. We need you of your services. It is complete. And then you see it all start to coalesce from the generators around the side that you guys saw, half of them broken. Starts to culminate towards the center, and kind of fill in the doll into the prime, what you guys recognize as the prime form of Amaros. Um, and he goes, for the removal of refuse, we use Amaros of Undoing to complete and remove. Um, and you see them bringing forth a bunch of like scrap metal, um, yard and food wastes. Um, she reaches down and it starts to float up. And she holds up and she brings her fingers together and the scrap metal starts to disintegrate and disappear. And she rolls her hands up in all of the different refuses um, and scraps and plastic wastes and stuff. She kind of coalesces together and it all, as she snaps, it all kind of just starts to burn and evaporate. Um, and there's cheering and applause. Um, it kind of dulls out. It comes back. She's pulling from homes and she's pulling stuff out of water with another mill. Um, you don't really get a good image, and she's just and snapping and pulling and all the different kinds of like grime and trash out and about is getting pulled up and just destroyed out. Um, um, greets children, waves at people on the street. Um, easy, kind of dulls out. This is bleaker. There's a gathering of all kinds of different larger beings, Armoros being within the group. The communication, while unaudible, gives off, just radiates a dire situation. You feel anxiety, worry. You see a very clean, super pale, almost white horns of silver that roll down the back in robes of clean gold and blues. Kind of gives off a similar appearance of what you remember the Maid of Pride to look like. Um, kind of pointing his fingers out, um, just in the groups, um, three each, just kind of points at three, kind of rolls up, points at another three. And then it looks like there's almost like a feel of consensus amongst the group. And then first you see Amros get drugged from her chest up towards the center of the grouping, and two others. One looking like it is coming apart at the seams, where there would be feet, where the ankles are at. It almost looks like bare crystal, and then like paperish plates come and form up around the bottom to kind of finish out as it moves up to the form. And you hear undoing when Amoros gets pulled up. You hear annihilation when the other gets pulled. You hear judgment get pulled on a third one. And then it gets fused. They start to meld together in this horrifying, amalgamative, like stars hit each other and everything kind of busted. But it's not just like particles. It's flesh and fluids and everything else, and it starts to swirl, and it comes together in what you recognize as Armoros. And then you recognize the voice of pride. It's like, with this and with others, combining our powers, we should be able to stop the spread. And it flashes from the moment where she is waving at an individual and is brushing the hair off of a child's face, both of them smiling at each other. As she brushes the hair away, it becomes a skull. And the light blues and greens and stonework of the city fade out into orange and rusted reds, in like this odd irradiating darkness. This winds tear through, um, um, almost like the smile was wiped from her face as she looks out, and she holds the skull as it just kind of dissipates. And you can see literally the tears run from her face. And she looks out, and there's nothing left. And you hear slight muttering next to her. And she looks over, and she goes, I have no other choice. I'm all that's left. I'm sorry. And it goes white. He goes, yeah. That's who she worships. I wasn't gonna question her. To be honest.
Grins is just sitting there scratching his chin. He's like, not gonna lie, she seems a tad suicidal than you guys made her out to be.
Your video hiccuped for just a second there. She seems a
Oh.
tad bit what?
A tad bit less homicidal than you guys made her out to be at first.
Did you see what she did to the entire continent? She
Didn't
wants
seem
to
like
do
she
it
wanted
again.
to. I don't think she wants to do it.
Your video is hiccuping some. You didn't speak to her.
No. Now I haven't spoken to her except for recently.
Before she destroys everything.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It seems like she's done it once, she'll do it again. But I don't think this is our first choice. Sadly, I think we're her first choice. While maybe that's a good pick on her part, it's a lot of responsibility, and I don't do well with that much responsibility all the time, but
You're muted.
He was like, I can't do with the responsibility.
Well.
Hey, now. She was her first choice. She is her redemption. You guys are her answer to not having to destroy the rest of the world again.
Well, that's good. We are also Sucklaf's first choice. It's a grave responsibility for us to bear. I turned to Grins and I'm like, I knew I could get answers out of the big guy if I just questioned him long enough.
He is just as impressed. He's just like, yeah, like, he kind of goes, now, from what I remember here, it wasn't just her that got all mixed together with others. So I would assume that any working maid right now is an amalgamation of a similar traits and ideals. that would make them stronger.
Annihilation,
Eileen-
doing, and judgment. Perhaps justice is rolled up in judgment. Might be the only reason that she hasn't wiped us all out again yet.
Grin sits back. He looks very thoughtful. He looks up. He's like, chosen by a god to save the world as we know it is going to look good on our resumes.
Reza. What? Okay.
It's going to make a great story. Oh my gosh. I will be singing this one for a long time.
When Jason starts talking about his portfolio, so could you imagine my portfolio with the guild? Like, oh my goodness.
All right.
Well.
She must be.
But it looks like that's. It seems like that was her. We're not gonna have to worry about that anymore. So you guys are gonna have to, step it up a notch, eh? Because if you guys fail, like, there's no more snap reset. I don't think she's coming back.
We will not fail. We have a god's blessing upon us. We must not fail. Zendaira takes this very, very seriously.
Grins is, while Zendaira is being very zealous and sincere, Grins is behind him, like, making the cuckoo sign. Cool.
You, Demisios, you have been most helpful. Thank you for your candor.
Like,
I think I'm gonna head out of the room at this point. So, I don't think I've got much left I want to get done at this point in the day. So.
I think Grins is gonna go ahead and head downstairs and play his pan flute and try to draw a little bit of a crowd, keep that free room thing going.
Grins has earned free room.
Nice.
Cool. I don't feel like. What was that?
Trying to think of the other ones I'm noting stuff left.
Don't feel like we want to start another day without our dragonborn friend.
No. It's alright.
Yeah. I will.
We lost him.
Whenever we close out the day, I will, before going to sleep, I will spend some time meditating again, considering everything that's happened today. But yeah, whatever. Cool.
Yep. And then yeah, we'll start with the night next time.
Okay.
I want to refresh Sam on that conversation.
Cool.
And then I want him to be a part of the vision.
Cool. All right.
Because you will get a vision. So next episode. Vision. Amuro's backstory. All the good loot from kicking butt and Touchu. And then possibly Sam's gonna want to go into that cave on your guys' way north.
Forgot about that. Right.
Yeah, because you guys have an open power generator under a working seat, working with
Right.
no maid on top. But that also means that somewhere there might be a quad hex rod. Because you guys now have just learned that you need a kernel unit to run a maid, and that means you guys are walking around with a kernel unit that is for a maid somewhere.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that
It also
kind of makes
means that
sense
you
now.
guys have. That also means that you guys have tainted a kernel unit for a maid somewhere with a beholder.
Ah, yes.
Right, that one we left behind. That
He
one
stopped it.
Grins left
He
behind.
stopped it.
He really didn't want to come with us.
Oh. But he did hold it back into the catacombs down there. So, and now it doesn't look like it's gonna go anywhere from there. But who knows? It at least can't follow you guys north, because you desolated that area. So that means it at least has to go and devour like 4 more towns to run into you guys. So yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Sounds good.
I haven't thought of it yet. But yeah. So sorry for the quick one. Hopefully we can get Sam up and running tomorrow. Have him pay for extra 5G. Because
Yeah,
they probably throttled his internet if he's running everything off of his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Okay. Well, thanks as always. This was,
Absolutely.
fun, even if it was a little bit cut off due to technical issues here.
Got some technical things. I've got a lot of work to do because I've got items and stuff to make now.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right.